Coralville, just outside Iowa City. And at the Super Caucus, Red Dirt Report covered in Coralville, Iowa, just outside Iowa City, there was not a single Romney sign visible in or around the large conference center. Yet he would go on to win, despite Ron Paul signs outnumbering the Rick Santorum and Rick Perry signs 7-1. And if you go back to the original, go back to that first graphic that actually shows the Coralville presidential straw poll results. You see Ron Paul there with twice as many as Romney had in that particular district. And then we got this long quote here. Where did Romney's support come from in Coralville? He would get 262 votes according to the Des Moines Register, and Ron Paul would get 203. Precinct 4, which we covered, overwhelmingly went to Paul, which we saw in those numbers. He got double of Romney, more than double. And there seemed to be a lot of activity going on in Precinct 6. And in Brad's blog, he put up the rules that they actually made a change to the rules right before the caucus, and it was to allow no photo ID necessary for any voter in the Republican Iowa caucus. And I guarantee you, I've heard this issue raised up many times by the Republicans about how they want to have IDs on everybody who's going to vote. So it keeps the illegals from voting and all this. But it doesn't matter in the Iowa Republican caucus. Then it doesn't matter. As many people as we can stuff through the door to vote for our two shill warmongering candidates, we're going to do that because we either want Obama in or we want Romney, and or maybe I don't think they really want Santorum or Gingrich, but I think it's going to be, this push for Romney, that he's our savior. Let's go back to that long quote at the end of it. Rick Santorum has no organization, never drew over 100 people during his entire campaign. They're talking about in Iowa. Of course, he did bribe and receive benediction of that family leader who demanded $1 million, which he would distribute in part to cronies. That family leader was Bob Vanderplaats, which leads us to an ABC article published in late December. Iowa conservative leader mired in controversy after Rick Santorum endorsement. And it goes to Santorum acknowledged in an interview with CNN that he talked with Vanderplaats. What we talked about was he needed money to promote the endorsement and that would be important to do that, Santorum told CNN. There was never a direct ask for me to go out and raise money for it. But then later in another ABC News on Monday night interview, you had Santorum's national communications director, Hogan Gidley, who said, I don't know about any discussions other campaigns have had, but we did not, nor would we ever agree to raise a single penny for another entity. We were focused on our own campaign, and that's where our resources were spent, although there's a lot of people going around saying that Santorum gave this guy $1 million and to buy in influence and support in this Iowa caucus. Notice this is at the end of December, and then that's about the time that Santorum started coming out of nowhere at the polls, even though he wasn't getting anybody coming out to any of his campaign forums. Let's go to the next quote. ABC News learned that Vanderplaats tried to solicit money for his endorsement during the last presidential cycle, too. A former staffer for Mitt Romney's 2008 presidential bid, who is currently unaffiliated with the campaign, said Vanderplaats came to them seeking money for backing if he supported the former Massachusetts governor. He wanted to be paid, the former staffer said, and he was clearly looking for a paycheck. There was a conversation about him getting a title and about being a pay consultant was much more important. So you have this religious leader in Iowa who's looking for money, and then with that money, he's going to go out and get influence. And I think if you follow the money, that's where you'll see it will lead to Vanderplaats helping out Rick Santorum, especially in those rural counties where it's all done gentlemanly, like what we heard from Karl Rove last night, which we're going to play right now.
Romney is going to win the Iowa caucuses by 14 votes. How solid is your evidence?
From a pretty good, reliable source. They made the correction in Story County, which moved it from an 18-point margin for Santorum to a 4-vote margin for Santorum. Clinton County, right. You have the one outstanding precinct in the state, and that it will show an 18-vote victory in that precinct for Mitt Romney, which will give him a statewide victory of 14 votes over.
From out of nowhere, it's Rick Santorum.
So I don't understand. You're saying that they basically have come to an agreement as to what the vote's going to be in Clinton?
The person who's got the official piece of paper is missing. But the Romney and Santorum people who are monitoring it agree on what the number is. They apparently have rounded up the representatives of the camps who have agreed, yes, we were there, we know exactly what the vote total was, and we both agreed to what it was.
So the official was Edith Pfeffer. She was at her home sleeping. She had already called in the results, or so she claimed, and so she reported on NPR, yet there was a computer glitch. There you go. That's how it happens. Even though Ron Paul got third place in Iowa, he seems to be blowing out everybody else, including Barack Obama in merchandise sales. Cafe Press, which allows you to build merchandise and sell them kind of as you sell it, they make it type thing. 54% of the items sold in 2011 were Ron Paul. 18 went to President Obama, 11% went to Rick Perry, and 9% went to Mitt Romney, Mittens Romney, as they call him. And just to let you know, we offer a few T-shirts, Ron Paul T-shirts here at Infowars. So if you want to support Ron Paul, support our operation, there you go. Pick you up a Ron Paul T-shirt. Let people know out there. Let's keep putting up signs. Let's keep putting up bumper stickers. Let's keep showing people that Ron Paul is the people's candidate. He's not bought by these giant corporations that want to warmonger and tell the rest of the world what to do. So we're going to go to break. We're going to come back. We're going to show a little clip last night from Cobra Commander who visited us and a whole bunch more. We got some GlaxoSmithKline news, and then we got Alex's amazing interview with Edward T. Haslam, who wrote Dr. Mary's Monkey. It's Infowars Nightly News. I'm your host, Rob Dew.
America is in trouble.
Washington is a disgrace.
Government has become too big. It's overtaxing, overspending. We need to change direction.
We really need change.
We can't afford to make the same mistakes we've made in the past.
Mitt Romney's reputation as a flip-flopper.
He went the other way when he got paid to go the other way.
There is need for economic stimulus.
It's about serial hypocrisy.
This election is about trust. There's been one true, consistent candidate, and that's Dr. Ron Paul.
Ron Paul has been so consistent from the very beginning.
He seems like a more honest candidate.
He tells the truth about what he believes, whether you like it or not.
He's never once voted for a tax increase, never once voted for an unbalanced budget.
Ron Paul's plan is bold, cuts 5 departments. It's what we need.
When he says he's going to cut $1 trillion in the first year, I believe it.
If you don't like how things are going and you're tired of politicians, he's something different.
Ron Paul.
Ron Paul.
Ron Paul.
Ron Paul
is the one we've been looking for.
I'm Ron Paul, and I approve this message.
And we are back. It's Infowars Nightly News. If you're watching this on YouTube, please consider becoming a subscriber. It's easy to do. Go to prisonplanet.tv or InfowarsNews.com. And right now we're having a 15-day free trial. So you can try it out for 15 days, see if you like it. We're doing this every night. We're putting other special reports up. Alex also has a special rant page that he does. It's just filled with a lot of stuff. Go check it out, InfowarsNews.com or prisonplanet.tv. And don't forget, we had that interview with author Edward T. Haslam. Dr. Mary's Monkeys coming up. But first, let's talk some Cobra Commander. Last night, we had a special visit from international terrorist Cobra Commander. The actual Cobra Commander appeared and declared his intent to run for the presidency, and I thought it was so great, I'm just going to play a clip from it. Here he is announcing his bid for presidency of the United States.
Miss Napolitano, I'm sorry to reveal your identity. I mean, forget that. Cobra Commander, why are you agreeing to this interview? You said you had some special announcement for us. Please tell us what that is, sir.
I am the leader. I am Cobra Commander. I have agreed to this interview so that you might know that I have decided to go public and to have a public stock offering in Cobra Global Enterprises. I intend to issue my own fiat currency, but before I do that, I intend to sue Homeland Security for copyright and trademark infringement. Black uniforms, ski mask, checkpoints, black armored tanks on the streets, preemptive war, torture, wireless wiretapping. Total tyranny is the new freedom that Cobra has taught the world. And now Joe and the Pentagon have stolen my plan and hired Al-Qaeda to carry out their operations in Libya, which they formerly did for me. Now, clearly, America and the rest of the system has realized that I am the true visionary. And so I now announce to you and the world the greatest moment in the history of Cobra! Cobra! I will now sit for president and run on the Republican Party ticket against that plagiarized Barack Obama that's stolen so many of my ideas. Clearly an America that loves indefinite detention and the NDAA and torture and secret arrest is ready to be ruled by a true tyrant. I was a snake and an oppressor before it was cool. Hail Cobra! Cobra! I am running for president of the United States. And from America, I will continue the policy of global corporate war against the third world, death and destruction, forced inoculations. Hail Cobra!
And that was Cobra Commander. We got a lot of feedback from that, mostly positive. A lot of people, well, not a lot of people, some people don't understand when Alex does these things. They think he might be, discrediting the movement or something. But I tell you what, it does let off a lot of steam. And for people out there who are asleep and who aren't awake, stuff like this could be the shot they need to actually do that further investigation to see what's going on out there. So I really like it when he does these. I remember he was talking today on the radio when he did Global Love Cop. I actually went out and we heard that skit, and the band I was in at the time, we wrote a song called Global Love Cop, and we would put the bar under martial law. We would close the doors, freak everybody out, and, just to try to wake people up, get them to understand this is what's happening. This is like in the early 2000s. So kudos to Alex for doing that. Now let's move on. GSK lab fined over vaccine test that killed 14 babies. And it seems like GlaxoSmithKline, because they can't test their poison on the people here in the United States, have to go to South America and dupe those people. I think they were duping people with like 28-page consent forms. I mean, ridiculous. So GlaxoSmithKline Argentina Laboratories was fined 400,000 pesos by Judge Anguski following a report issued by the National Administration of Medicine, Food, and Technology for the killing of 14 babies during illegal lab vaccine trials conducted between 2007 and 2008. The charges included experimenting with human beings, falsifying parental authorization so babies could participate in the vaccine trials conducted by the laboratory. The doctors took advantage of these many illiterate parents whom take their children for treatment by pressuring and forcing them into signing these 28-page consent forms involved in the trials. Once a picked patient arrived, it would automatically disappear, be taken somewhere, and in order to be treated by those doctors specifically recruited by GSK. These kinds of practices are not legal and occurred without any type of state control. It goes on. It is also known that in various particular cases, the doctors who had conducted these trials did not answer the calls made by worried parents after witnessing their baby's reactions to vaccines. This is a total crime that goes on repeatedly by these companies who wrap themselves with lawyers and legislation that protects them, and it's sick. And the precursor to that is the SV40 virus, which is covered in this book, and it's going to be an amazing interview coming up with Alex Jones in just a few minutes. We've got 2 more stories to go to. We're going to go to a quick break and then come back to that interview with Alex. From Natural News, woman files class action lawsuit against Frito-Lay for marketing genetically modified snacks as all natural. And this made me sick because I actually eat one of these brands. Frito-Lay is the subject of a new class action lawsuit that pegs the company for illegally marketing its snack products, which are loaded with GM ingredients, as being all natural. Represented by Milberg LLP of Los Angeles, Julie Gingo of Richmond, California, recently filed a class action lawsuit against Frito-Lay, alleging that the snack products are fraudulently labeled. Frito-Lay Sun Chips, Tostitos products are made with GM vegetable oils and potentially even GM corn, but they're both labeled as being all natural. But GMO products are not all natural ingredients and are in fact admittedly synthetic, which makes any product that contains them unnatural. And that's even by their own definition. You can go to the Monsanto website. The company defines GMO on its website as food with genetic makeup altered to exhibit traits that are not naturally theirs. So they even use the term unnatural. So kudos to Julie. Hopefully they do some of that, and I will not be eating Sun Chips ever again. I'm sorry, I just can't do it. You keep learning